Welcome live to the Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. I am your host, Devin Poslusny, along with Dave Poslusny as always. Tonight we don't have a cameraman, so...
The old man couldn't make it.
Exactly. So, camera might be a little bit different than we usually have it, as I can already see that our camera's not steady. I'm in the middle and Dave's off to the side. We'll fix that.
Next break, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get right to our show lineup here.
Yeah, I'll just move over a little bit.
And I'll move. Okay, now to our show lineup. Motorsports in 60, IndyCar, Formula 1, RH Blog Report, NASCAR. Then we'll take a break. We'll also have your track preview for Charlotte after the NASCAR. Then we have Virtual Lap, RH Points Championship. We're going to talk about the end of season here at Racing Hotspot, and then our final lap. So let's get right into things here. Motorsports in 60. Timer starts now. We're going to cover something we usually don't. ARCA raced at Kansas Friday night, was it? I believe.
Yeah, I did not catch it, and I was curious, was there a real big difference between the series with the track conditions? Did you catch any of it?
What do you mean?
Go, because you got 60 seconds.
Justin Boston finished 5th. Dylan Kozlowski finished 4th. John West-Towney finished 3rd. Mason Mitchell finished 2nd. And Frank Kimmel won the race. That is his 80th career win. Also, he won the championship. Nationwide Series raced at Kansas. Here's your top 5. Finishing 5th, Justin Allgaier. 4th, Kyle Busch. Regan Smith finished 3rd. Paul Menard 2nd. And Matt Kenseth won the race. We have 4 seconds left. And we're done. So, yes, what were you saying about the tires?
Well, I was just wondering if there was a big difference because, I mean, obviously you saw what happened today with the tires. It was that new tire was an issue because of the temperature, and Ford Goodyear obviously couldn't do anything about it. Although my roommate was wondering why they don't have a plan B in place, because you can predict weather. But I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting it to get as cold as it did. So
I don't really think they had a plan B. I think NASCAR went, you know what? We're going to spice up the races. Give them this tire. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, well, I'm not thankful for it, being a Kyle Busch fan.
Yeah, went to the backup and then wrecked his backup.
Nothing against Johnson, but I kind of wish Johnson would have blew his motor about 5 laps earlier. Because that wouldn't have... It did stir up the chain spell. That's one thing I can honestly say. Because now there are people that everybody was saying, including ourselves, pretty much didn't stand a chance at this point on the right there.
Exactly.
Jeff Gordon's in what, 4th?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about
We'll get
points
to the
anyway.
standings in a little bit. Okay, moving right along here to IndyCar. IndyCar had a unique race weekend. Of course, they had the race 1 and 2. But did you know that their track was made up in the Houston Texans football team parking lot?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, if you had your, say this is your stadium, and you had the parking lots around it, the track was made up in that. And they were calling it a street course, but it was really a parking lot course. And
some of the greatest racing areas that you can use, especially drag racing and whatnot, are old airports.
Yeah.
Runways and whatnot.
Exactly. Well, yeah. And we'll get to something I just remembered about airports, but after the IndyCar report. Here's race 1. Finishing 5th, Joseph Newgarden. Simon Pagenaud finished 4th. Justin Wilson finished 3rd. Simona Di Silvestro finished 2nd. And Scott Dixon won the race. Race 2 happened today at the same exact track. Sebastian Bourdais finished 5th. Justin Wilson finished 4th. James Hinchcliffe, who got in an accident in yesterday's race, finished 3rd. Scott Dixon finished 2nd. And Will Power won the race. James Hinchcliffe. They were on the Saturday's race 1 of the weekends that they have 2 races, standing start, rolling start.
Yeah.
They did 2 attempts at it. One, Charlie Kimball had an issue, so he was waving it off, saying, hey, help, and they did another lap. And then James Hinchcliffe didn't go, and I was watching this, and they were looking at it from the racetrack, was like the camera was back.
Mm-hmm.
So you see everybody coming, and all of a sudden you just see them, the one lane, like going back and forth. and then you see one guy went hard around him, almost, and hit him, but not severely.
Right.
And then the other guy
Clipped him.
clipped him. Yeah, exactly. And it was like, well, that's standing starts. I like them
Yeah, it is interesting.
when they're not used to
That's
that.
what Formula One always does, don't they?
Well, but Formula One's used to it. They used to, like, the drivers go like this. Okay, we all know we're going everywhere.
Yeah.
Follow
Well,
do your best.
current Indy drivers aren't used to it, but they did do that in the past.
Yeah.
I think it was Grandpa that said it last week. They used to actually have to run, jump in the car, start it, and go. And that's pretty crazy.
It is. Something you brought up the old drag strips,
Runways.
airport runways. Did you know that Daytona was interested back in the early 200s buying the airport behind the track and making that a drag strip?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Isn't that a pretty big airport right behind them?
it's a kind of small one, but it is.
Daytona International. It's got to be big enough to take Air Force One because I've seen it
Well-
happen. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. I think Daytona was interested in buying one of their runways and giving them money to expand bigger.
No, I didn't
But
know that.
yeah, I read that the other day. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Oh, you're reading. Good.
Yeah, I'm reading.
Did
Okay.
you know that ISC just lost $20 million because of the Staten Island project?
I see. Oh, International Speedway.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they were trying to, as you probably know, just off of Long Island now, they wanted to build a racetrack. But it finally got killed. It was finally completely squashed, so they wound up selling the property. And got $80 million for it, but they paid $100 million, so they took a $20 million hit.
Ouch.
Yeah, it does hurt. I think it would have been cool, but I do believe that, in all honesty, if you lived around there, it would be a nightmare. Because there's just so many people.
Hmm.
And what is there? The island itself is 2 ways on and off. One south and one north, so that would be pretty bad. Now, I've seen what traffic would looks like when there's 2 ways, although Loudon does do a great job.
No, yes. And the LAE is the only way on and off of the island, the highway.
No, this wasn't actually on Long Island. I think the property was on Staten Island.
Oh, okay. So
Which
it's like,
actually at one point in time was just a giant dump.
yeah.
It's more or less, it was built on after
Okay.
the fact.
Well, something on Long Island, I'll get to that in another second. Formula One, they ran the Korean Grand Prix this morning, 2 a.m. this morning. Here's your top 5. Finishing 5th, Lewis Hamilton. Nico Hulkenberg finished 4th. Romain Grosjean
Mm-hmm.
uh,
I do not know.
finished 3rd. Kimi Räikkönen finished 2nd, and Sebastian Vettel won the race. See, if I hear announcers say the name, I know what it is,
Yeah,
but
that was-
sounding it out, it's
I've
like
heard, as you say, Sebastian Vettel. I've heard it as Vettel.
Vettel, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways, and that was from announcers. Speaking of announcers, the guys today, did you catch, I don't know how much of the race you got to watch?
Which one? IndyCar or
The
NASCAR?
NASCAR,
Yeah, because
yeah.
you don't get IndyCar.
Oh, God. I don't know what was going on with the guys that were announcing, but they were just bad. That's 2 Fords right there, and it's clearly a Chevy in the front. I mean, you see the big Chevy emblem, I'm like, oh, what? That was just one I can remember off the top of my head. They said a couple of really silly things.
Well, whatever.
Well, I guess they got to keep rolling, just so it doesn't get boring
yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. Speaking of the TV companies, the TV guys, NASCAR, you're not going to like this. NASCAR is trying to get ESPN out next season. NBC Sports Network is ready to step in midway next season.
Great.
So it looks like there's a possibility that it's going to go Fox, TNT, and NBC.
So once it does that, I can't really watch races anymore.
Well, it doesn't say NBC Sports Network. It just says NBC. So that could be the lower channel NBC.
No, it should be.
You
Simple as that.
you don't know that though. They might still do that, but they might have
Just like I can watch my qualifying every week.
Okay, we're not even gonna get into that.
Well, it's annoying. I think they should know it, and I'm curious if other people agree.
Mm-hmm. Well, to get on to the Long Island, the Staten Island thing you were just saying,
Mm-hmm.
in the 1900s, there was a racetrack, famous racetrack, in Bridgehampton.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just learned about this the other day, and now it's
How about the Vanderbilt Parkway?
Yeah, no.
That
I didn't
was a racetrack.
I didn't even know there was tracks
Vanderbilt
online.
himself raced on it. Actually, I'm pretty sure he owned it. And it became public highways.
Wow.
But it was originally a racetrack. Went right past Uncle George's house. You didn't know that?
No.
I'm surprised Grandpa never told you.
I didn't even know there were ever racetracks on Long Island. I thought the only tracks were...
Redhead Raceway.
No. Like, big NASCAR road courses and stuff. Because NASCAR went to Bridgehampton.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, they went as the, when they were the NASCAR Grand National.
Grand National.
But it's funny because now it's a golf course. But if you look at it from overhead, you can still see the outline of the track.
Do they use it for golf carts or anything?
It's just it's cleared land.
Right.
So they never actually grew back. But you can, if you look at a picture of the track and then look at the golf course now, like you can see the front stretch in the first corner.
Yeah.
The front stretch is still there, just it was cut back to.
So it wasn't that big though.
No.
Yeah, so Vanderbilt was quite large. Actually, it was 43 miles or something like that. It was a big course.
Yeah, I think this one was only like a mile, 1.6 miles or something like that.
No, it's funny because you say from up top view, you can actually see the racetrack from like Google Earth, but you have to be at the right point away. It's because Long Island is, as you know, is like all grid work now.
Mm-hmm.
It's north, south, east, or west, and it's just all
Yeah.
hacked up like giant checkerboard. Well, look within the checkerboard. The Vanderbilt Parkway kind of curves and worms its way through it and actually goes in a giant circle. Right in the hot dog area where Uncle George lived. I don't know if you remember that far back.
No, I'll look into it though. So yeah, email me that, like the name and everything. Okay, that's
Google Earth. It's a hard one to remember.
no the name of
Bring it up now.
the name of the track.
I got you. Vanderbilt Parkway. Yes.
Okay, moving on to this week's RH blog report. Uh-oh. I've lost internet.
I didn't.
Hold on. Hopefully this bounces right back. Better.
Well, you need it for them. Sorry.
Alrighty then. We lost internet. So what we are going to do, and I didn't do the RH blog report this week.
That would help.
We're going to cut that part out. We're going to move on to NASCAR. Which I'm not happy that I lost internet. I don't know why I did. Try connecting to that. Okay. Now moving on to NASCAR. Oh, and this is our final segment. This way we can fix the internet over the break, hopefully. Now, NASCAR, Hollywood Casino 400, here's your top 5. Finishing 5th, Carl Edwards. 4th, Joey Logano. Jeff Gordon finished 3rd. Kurt Busch finished 2nd. And Kevin Harvick won the race. Little fun fact, you probably already knows this. Kevin Harvick's last pole was New Hampshire 2006.
Okay.
And he won that race. So he won the pole now, and he won that race.
Well, he definitely got a dominant car. Once he was out in clear air, he was untouchable.
Here's your standings. Go from 13th to 1st. Casey Kane's in 13th, 83 points back. Ryan Newman, 73 points back. He's in 12th. 11th is Carl Edwards. He's 60 points back. Joey Logano's in 10th, 59. Clint Boyer, 55. Earnhardt's and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in 8th, 54 points back. Kurt Busch is in 7th, 47 points back. Greg Biffle is in 6th, 44 points back. Now here's your top 5. Kyle Busch, 35 points back.
Hard hit today.
Yes, Jeff Gordon, 32 points. Kevin Harvick, 25. Jimmy Johnson, 3. And Matt Kenseth has 2,183 points. So 2,183 points. So you can...
Alright, let's clear something up. What is the maximum points you can get in a race?
I thought it was 3.
It's gotta be more than 3.
But I'm... Like, I know
Not
that...
to win a race. What's the maximum points you can earn in a race? Because you can get one for...
Most laps, lead lap.
Yeah, lead lap.
Most laps.
The win. And I know that it shifts around because of them passing each other, but I don't think that really has anything to do with...
you get
I think
a point
that's a
for
negative one, positive one kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because of-
like if you get passed by a car, you lose a point. If you get past a car, you gain a point.
Right.
I think. So like
well,
if
the only reason I'm bringing that up is because at this point in time, with only 6 races to go, we could probably start really narrowing down who doesn't have a chance. But they did mix it up today, big time. I mean, Gordon got a nice jump there. It's only 32 behind.
heck, look at Kyle Busch. You are Greg Biffle. He could not DNF. Wreck his primary car next week and pass every car in the field and win the race, and he'd still be in it because he's only 44 points back.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
So-
'cause Kyle would have done really well today if he
Yeah.
kept it in the top 5 because he had to come all the way from the back. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So, if you look at this, Earnhardt's still in it, Boyer's still in it, Logano, Edwards is slim, and then Newman and Kane are kind of out there. But everybody's still in it. Tony Stewart gained, I think, in the Homestead race, in 2011, he passed the field. He went from back to first to back to first. I don't know if you remember that.
Go again, I'm sorry.
He went from back to first, through the field once, then fell back, and then through the field again.
Right, but you're not going to gain extra points that way.
No, you're not.
The
But
old system actually used to be able to do that because Mark Martin used to do it all the time.
yeah,
He'd drop, let somebody go by like a teammate, and then take them back, and he still got the extra point.
yeah, I know that. But he gained Tony Stewart gained 50 points that day, because he also passed lap cars.
Yep.
So
Why do you gotta make me read so much? I'm just curious about this, folks. I'm trying to find out if they have an answer right here. It's up front. Yes. Apparently 43. And you know what? I think we both knew that number. Because it was coincidence that it was Rich and Petty's number.
yes,
And I think we said something last year about that. Anyhow, alright, so 43 points. So going back to the points themselves,
Edwards is still in this. Logano.
yeah,
Well,
with
like-
60, but we would require a lot of bad things to happen for Kansas Jimmy Johnson, probably all the way up to Kyle Busch at this point.
If Edwards were to win it, say he wins this week, he comes in with 20 points. Or 23 points
Mm-hmm.
of first.
That's if he wins.
That's if he wins. So, Kasich Kane could have 2 good weeks. And Kenseth and Johnson and Harvick and everybody else in front of him has bad weeks. He goes
Well,
right
Gordon
to
got, what, 2 top 5s in a row? That's why he's up to 4.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm just going to make myself sound better. Clint Boyer, the one I picked for the champion this year, could still be in this. Is he going to be? Probably not. Okay.
Well, you really never know, because Talladega is going to be a big game changer if something goes wrong. And I bet you my life that the way they're going to wind up starting is a group of them are going to go back and a group of them are going to go for the front. There's going to be nobody in the middle because they're all going to be trying for the same thing. And then, like we've seen before at Talladega, that rear group will come up towards the end because they'll have the ability to do it. And even if they still qualify well, they'll still fall back. Like the Hendrick group seems to do that. I'm going to say for the past 2 years at Talladega,
Yeah,
they
I
always
think
drop
so.
back. Well, unless you got the lead. If you got the lead, then you want to run with it. But if you start getting shuffled, you might as well fall back and hope nothing happens on your way back. You know, and that's what I say. I see half of these guys are going to be up front, and half of them are going to fall back, and then we're going to see what happens in the end.
All right. Well, yeah.
And like I said, it could be a huge game changer because if something happens in the front of the field, the guys that are hiding in the back don't get in it, and everything changes. So if you're a team, how would you do that? If you were lower in the numbers, would you choose to go fall back and hope that the guys fighting out up front have something go wrong so that you can gain that?
I wouldn't.
Well, I know that Martin did it one year and it totally failed for him. I remember that because that wound up being a tail end of the field wreck and he was in it.
Well, that's the issue. You have if we didn't have 2-hour shows, I'd pull over cars and show you an example, and I might take a picture of it or do a little video on it when we get to Talladega. You have a pack of cars. Actually, you know what? I'll use these guys. No contact though. So there you go. I don't know.
That'd be interesting to see.
One guy, a nationwide cup.
They have all 3 series and run
Guy-
them together.
Guy Keselowski drops back. I'm gonna lay in the back. This guy, and I don't know, James Busher. I don't know, 12 truck gets spun out. He's going this way. He's going.
Yeah, but if you lay back in a field of 43 and something happens in the top 10, you should be able to clear that.
Yeah, but
Even if you got to stop the car and watch your rear view, you know what I mean? That kind of a thing. There's ways around that, because nothing's going to count after that. I mean, if there's a big wreck and the caution comes out, even if you came to a full stop, just to make sure you were clear of everything and drive around them and keep going.
well, yeah, and I just showed this example.
Kind of like what just happened to me with the deer, actually, on the way in.
Middle car, middle pack goes back. The far end is gonna take out. But if you're in the middle and the back end has an issue, you're fine. So it's tough.
Tough deciding. Well, it's just like anything else, strategy.
Exactly. Now, before we go to break, and then we come back for our virtual lap, let's give you the stats of Talladega. Oh my God, you've got me in Talladega mode. Charlotte, we're 1 race early. It's a 1.5 mile tri-oval. Well, not really tri-oval. Cookie cutter. 24 degrees of banking in turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 degrees on the straights. Here's your top 5 from last year's race. Clint Boyle won the race. Denny Hamlin finished 2nd. Jimmy Johnson 3rd. Greg Biffle 4th. And Kyle Busch 5th. So when we return, we'll have your virtual lap, and we'll be with our points. Arch Points Championship.
You had to crush me this week.
Can't really say I did. We'll get to that in a minute. But we'll be right back. Welcome back live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. It's that time. A virtual lap of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Last time I raced here, I wrecked. So this is going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be interesting. 1.5 miles. Banking drops off. See how it just dropped right there? Watch as we exit out 4. Turn 4. Ready, watch this. Drop. on the back stretch, see the giant TV screen. Once again, just watch as we drop right there. Come into the pits this time. And that's your virtual lap. Welcome back live. Well, we didn't come back live. You just saw the virtual lap. I always do that.
Yeah, so one more reason why you'll never be scouted as a driver.
I did good this time, actually. I only hit the wall.
Sound like Danica Patrick. I did good this time, I swear. I actually felt bad for that today.
Yeah. My friend I was sitting next to,
Not even one lap.
we're watching the race and we're in a restaurant with my friend and her mom and dad and we're watching the race and she wrecks. I'm like, your driver just wrecked. She's like, shut up. I'm like, alright. Just saying. Yeah.
She just has bad luck. It's not everybody blames her, but it's not really always her.
It was funny. I made the joke. I'm like, yeah, typical girl just turns right when she needs to turn left. And her and her mom were like, excuse me? I'm like, I'm only joking. Whatever. I need to turn that camera on. So, typical behind the scenes work. Concentrate on that camera when you don't have a cameraman. So you just saw the virtual lap of Charlotte. Like, the main thing I was saying was coming out of turn 4 on the high line, coming up and just dropping. And that was crazy.
Yeah, that game's got more and more realistic, too. So I remember I had, like, the original one. It was terrible.
So, yeah. Now, something that comes to mind with Charlotte was the camera incident. Before in May.
You mean the cable?
The cable, yeah. So you had said in that time they're trying to get rid of like so-called cameramen, have more independent automation. Yeah. Did you notice at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, turn 2, the camera angle for turn 2, there was no camera person there?
No, I didn't. I know there was a photographer, but I made mention of it. I don't think I saw a big camera.
You know how TV, they have them coming off the corner and then down the back stretch?
Yep.
It's a little camera like this big, and it's on a swivel.
Well, somebody's still got to operate it, though.
No, I know that, but they're not out there. Somebody's probably inside with the joystick.
Well, it could be safety, too. You know?
Probably, because they're at track level.
And if you do have debris, it can fly through the fence.
Or a wreck, a bad wreck, like Brian Vickers' wreck today, how he got air.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That was a hard hit, too. Oh, man.
Yes, it was. Now to our RH Points Championship picks. Well, championship. Here's your picks for, not Charlotte, Kansas. What we picked for this weekend. I had Denny Hamlin for 5th, Kurt Busch for 4th, Jimmy Johnson for 3rd, Martin Truex Jr. for 2nd, and Matt Kenseth for the win. Dave had Martin Truex Jr. for 5th, Edwards for 4th, Matt Kenseth for 3rd, Jimmy Johnson for 2nd, and Kyle Busch for the win. Of course, Dave has Matt Kenseth as his champion. I have Clint Boyer, and Artie has Carl Edwards. So, here's how the points wound up. Dave got 5th and 2nd. I got 4th, 3rd, and the win. So it was 10-20 if we open up the standings. Whoops.
Oh. You didn't call the win, though, right? You didn't call the winner? I think that's only happened once.
Yeah, that's only happened once, but when you consider the numbers, I got the win. So Dave has 480 points. I have 412. Finally broke the 400-point barrier. So if we scroll...
What do you want? That thing up there is that?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like mine will come up.
you click on it, it might. You'd have to. Alright, so if we scroll down now, I won Kansas. We just have 6 races left. Right? 30, yeah. So, kind of sad. So,
Well, it's the longest season in sports, so I think it's enough. A couple months off, yeah, you get a little hyperactive in January, but
yes. Okay, now to this week's picks for Charlotte. Dave has Jimmy Johnson for 5th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. for 3rd, 4th, Matt Kenseth for 3rd, Kyle Busch for 2nd, and Jeff Gordon for the win. Wow.
did you ever notice that I always have a long shot in my, I do that on purpose, trying to give you a chance?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think my long shot is this week?
Gordon.
No?
Earnhardt.
You're usually able to narrow that down, because obviously the 18, 20, and 48 had great races, and Kyle's race would have been good today if it wasn't for a couple of physical incidents.
Yes. Now, I have Clint Bowyer for 5th, Kurt Busch for 4th, Kevin Harvick, I'm hoping he has a somewhat good week, I guess you could say.
Did you just go based on the rebound, or?
I'm hoping for the rebound. Well, because he won in May.
Okay.
So maybe Matt Kenseth for 2nd and Jimmy Johnson for the win. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I usually have my so-called strong players at the beginning, and then drivers that I think could do something but may not, like Clint Bowyer.
Yeah.
I could give up 2 points if he doesn't do well. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't put him up at 10. See, I played mind games. 5th, 2 points. 1st, yeah, do I want to risk?
Mind games with yourself, I think?
Mind games with myself,
No.
yeah. So, that's your picks for this week at Charlotte. Now, before we go to our final lap, man, the show's flying by. Seriously. Before we go to our final lap, end of season. Yes, ES. In Racing Hotspot, this is the time where some of us may get excited when I have 2 months off, because I work my butt off on the show. Yeah, he just arrives and goes, "What are we talking about?" Okay, good. Seriously.
Yeah, if you ever notice, I always have my own stuff.
Well, no, but
Uh-huh.
all the notes and stuff, yeah, that's me.
Complain you got a 2-hour show now. You brought me in for comedy relief and to make the show longer. Now I made it too long?
No, you didn't make it too long. No, whatever. Okay, so
I
end
heard
of...
you also told your grandmother that you'd fire me if you could.
I did not.
And that's what she claimed. And then she said if she got in, you'd fire her too. Not my mom.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because you knew my mother would rat you out, but did you know that your other grandmother would rat you out?
No.
Thanks, Diana.
Okay. Now, end of the season for Racing Hotspot. We have a few saddening things. We have none to limited live races. It's like, I believe the last Legends car race was today. So I believe that's it for Legends.
You mean local live?
Local live. We might go to some like tracks over in Vermont, Connecticut, around the country. Not the country.
New England.
New England. Yeah, around the country. I'm going to California next weekend. Not. So we might do that, but very limited. I believe the next event that's going to be at New Hampshire Motor Speedway is the Gift of Lights that we will bring to you. Last races. IndyCar is the first race on the cutting board, so to speak. They end in October 19th, the 19th of this weekend, of this month. Global Rallycross is to be announced. I know you probably can't read that, but
Actually, I can. It's just blurry.
Yeah.
Or not blurry, but
yeah,
the way you wrote it. My vision's fine.
Oh, wow. Good job. So that's to be announced. So we don't know, but like they say November 7th for a race, and then we have a race in Vegas, but we don't know when that is. So could be in November, could be in December, could be, I don't know. I hope it's not in December. It's my off season. NASCAR, November 17th Formula One ends us out with November 24th. Last Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup is planned on November 24th. I don't know if we'll need you because we're only going to be talking about Formula One.
Okay.
And then the last show, which we probably will need you, is the the season finale.
Well, yeah, because you also got to give me my certificate for winning the Points Championship.
The 2013 season 2 finale is December 6th. So
Formula One doesn't finish till the weekend before Thanksgiving?
Yep.
Wow.
They go long.
Although I do remember a race after Thanksgiving in NASCAR. You wouldn't. You were way too young for that.
Wasn't that the race here? Because you got pushed off for 9/11?
All sports came to a pause because of 9/11, correct?
So actually, if you could go back, never mind. I'll just go on my calendar.
Would you?
Look at that. Go back one. So next Wednesday, the 16th of October, we'll have a special live event here.
The next Wednesday would actually be the 9th.
2 Wednesdays from now. Well, by the time this is uploaded, it'll be next Wednesday.
True.
Whatever. October 16th. This is the next so-called live event. Will be live streamed. It's the Dan Weldon 2-year anniversary. Dan Weldon, Remembering a Great, is going to be the name of the special. Okay. Still working on the plans. He might be involved. We're going to talk about that Skype-wise. So maybe have some live guests talking about where they were, what was going on in their lives when that accident happened.
Okay.
For Dan Weldon. So yeah, it's 2 years already. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's amazing how time flies. And just so you know, it just gets faster as you get older.
I know. So, yes, that is a quick outlook of what you can expect from us at Racing Hotspot. You'll be on Skype through the rest of October, I believe, and some of November.
No. No, actually, I'll be back. I just got rid of it too, but it's all right here. It was right in front of you a minute ago.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll be back. My first show back will be the 3rd November.
Okay, so he'll be in an undisclosed location for a couple of weeks, I guess you could say. He'll be here for Weekend Roundup. He'll just be on the screen, which will be the first time since we got the screen you're going to be on Skype.
Actually, I thought I was on there once, the big one.
You were on there once for the start of Racing Hotspot Summer Series.
Okay.
So you were on there once, but not for Weekend Roundup. So that's just an outlook of what you can expect from us, Racing Hotspot. Now to our final lap. I mean, we probably just killed 40 minutes while I was talking. IndyCar is off at, October 19th. Formula One Sunday 2 a.m. on NBC Sports Network. They are, I can't tell you where they are. I don't know. October 19th is the Truck Series next race. Nationwide Series Friday night on ESPN2. Cup Series Saturday night on ABC. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Rallycross is off until November 7th.
That's a long break.
Yes. Okay,
It's a whole month, isn't it?
Close to it. They always seem to be long breaks. What? Are you gonna find where the next race is?
Yeah, you're better at this than I am.
Official website. Hold on, guys.
She's quick, but she's not that quick. Ah!
Jesus. 23rd. Okay.
Yeah, we're way up on this one.
October.
It's Japanese.
Japanese
Grand Prix.
Okay. Japanese. And then the Indian Grand Prix.
Indian Grand Prix.
and I believe then it's the Circuit of the Americas.
Brought to you by Airtel. Who is Airtel?
I don't know. Oh no, I'm wrong.
That's the Circuit of Americas is not in Dubai.
No, it's Dubai, and then I believe it's the Circuit of the Americas if you scroll down.
No, it's actually Abu Dhabi, isn't it? I guess that's in Dubai.
Yeah. Then the United States Grand Prix, and then they finish up in Brazil.
Yeah, next year, Jersey.
Gotta start saving my pennies.
Yeah, from what I understand, they're expensive races to go to, too.
Yep, I've already looked into tickets. Gotta win the lottery. Okay, so that will do it for us here at Racing Hotspot. Final show for you for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Well, in studio, that is. So I get the entire day by myself.
And I'm sure he'll use all of it.
Really? Was that necessary?
You when you're playing with your cars, yeah.
Wait, I'm going to set up haulers as soon as you leave. See, we're doing a simulation of what the track looks like from the infield. Okay, so that will do it for this week's Racing Hotspot weekend roundup. Facebook, Facebook.com/Racing Hotspot. That is the most updated site, so to speak, for Racing Hotspot. The RacingHotspot.net site isn't really that updated, I have to be honest. Facebook's the most up-to-date. It may not be right now because we're doing the show, but...
Well, it's the easiest to work with, and it does have a lot of exposure.
Exactly. So, I'm actually thinking about making the Facebook page the actual so-called official website. Maybe. Like, not the official website, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. That will do it for us here on Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup, October 6th, 2013. Until we see each other next week, it'll just be me in studio. He'll be on Skype.
See you on the screen next week.
Yep. Have a good week. And join us next time. Same place, same time. Goodbye.
Little girl, you like it loud. Come alive.